In the world of leadership, power, and strategy, true strength is not always visible. Niccolò Machiavelli warned not of the tyrant, but of the fragile man who pretends to be strong. This man wears a smile, speaks gently, and claims to be kind, yet under pressure, his mask slips, revealing brittleness and danger. Understanding the signs of such weakness is critical, not just for leadership, but for survival. Here are the Machiavellian truths that expose a weak man, no matter how charming his exterior. 1. Comfort over conquest. The weak man worships ease. He avoids challenge and resists growth. While the strong see discomfort as a path to mastery, the weak retreat into safety. He avoids difficult conversations, shrinks from responsibility, and justifies inaction with phrases like, "I'm protecting my peace." In truth, he fears discomfort, risk, and failure. Machiavelli taught that power is earned through fire, not comfort. The man who cannot walk through temporary pain will never rule anything lasting. 2. Emotional incontinence. A weak man lacks emotional discipline. He's ruled by moods, fears, and impulses. He explodes in anger over minor slights and collapses into self-pity at criticism. Every feeling becomes public, on his face, in his voice, or online. He calls this honesty, but in truth, it's strategic vulnerability. Those who can trigger him control him. A Machiavellian mind remains composed, concealing fear and pain. The weak man, however, leaks emotion like a punctured drum, predictable, manipulable, and exposed. 3. Showmanship without substance. Instead of building power, the weak man performs it. He is loud, boastful, and desperate for validation. He quotes books he hasn't read, flaunts luxury he can't afford, and imitates strength rather than embodying it. Where strong men let presence speak, the weak man compensates with flash and noise. Underneath the bravado is insecurity. His identity is a costume, not armor. When tested, he folds. Influence, as Machiavelli knew, is not performed, it is earned in silence and proven under pressure. 4. Fear of isolation. Solitude is a forge for the strong and a prison for the weak. The weak man cannot be alone, not because he craves connection, but because silence forces him to face himself. Without distractions, applause, or external noise, he feels powerless. He fills his life with constant activity, shallow relationships, and stimulation to avoid self-reflection. The Machiavellian thrives in solitude, sharpening vision and preparing for conquest. The weak man, by contrast, becomes dependent on others, easily manipulated, and desperate for company to escape his inner void. 5. Reaction over strategy. The weak man doesn't think, he reacts. He lacks foresight, panics under pressure, and mistakes motion for progress. His actions are driven by ego, not calculation. One insult derails him. One failure halts him. He makes plans publicly, changes them impulsively, and burns bridges when threatened. The Machiavellian man, however, is layered, thinking in terms of timing, positioning, and power. Strategy demands patience and restraint, qualities the weak simply do not possess. 6. Validation over respect. He wants to be liked more than he wants to be respected. This man morphs to fit others' expectations, afraid of disapproval and addicted to praise. He flatters the powerful, competes with the weak, and submits to threats. He avoids conflict, over-apologizes, and changes his values for acceptance. Machiavelli warned that it is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. The man obsessed with validation is a puppet, not a leader. His sense of worth is borrowed, his courage conditional. 7. Conflict aversion. Conflict terrifies him, not because it's unjust, but because it threatens his fragile identity. He avoids necessary battles, lets disrespect slide, and rationalizes cowardice as virtue. "I don't want drama" becomes his excuse for inaction. But the strong man knows when to confront. Conflict, when necessary, defines leadership and enforces boundaries. The weak man, by running from it, slowly loses respect, control, and ultimately, power. 8. Premature exposure. He talks more than he builds. He announces goals before earning the discipline to achieve them and seeks applause before results. This need for attention exposes his plans to sabotage and criticism. True power moves in silence. The Machiavellian strategist protects information, misdirects when needed, and strikes only when ready. The weak man leaks his ambitions prematurely, mistaking exposure for progress and applause for achievement. Conclusion: the weak man is not merely soft, he is a threat in disguise. His comfort-seeking, emotional instability, performance-based identity, fear of solitude, impulsiveness, craving for approval, conflict aversion, and loud ambition all mask a deep lack of inner strength. Under pressure, he collapses, not quietly, but destructively, often dragging others with him. Machiavelli's timeless lesson rings true: strength is quiet, calculated, and forged in solitude and strategy. Weakness, no matter how well disguised, always reveals itself, and often when it's too late. In a world of lions, the weak man dies pretending to be one. But if you spot him early, you won't be fooled. You'll lead, like a strategist.